This is an apartment in Mallorca that was sent to me by a viewer who tells me it hasn't been renovated in over 30 years, and he was curious to know how I would change it. To be honest, with these views, I think you could put up with any configuration because your eyes are always just going to be drawn out of the window, and maybe that's why it hasn't been renovated in so long. But of course, there are opportunities here to use the space better and to be able to enjoy every area of the apartment while maximising the best bits. The apartment block is listed, so there can be no external alterations to the building, but there is precedent in the block for internal alterations. In total, the floor area is 30 square metres, which altogether contains a small bedroom that's partitioned off, some integrated storage, a small living and dining space separated from the narrow kitchen, and a bathroom at the back. The space is on the top floor of the apartment block, meaning that above this ceiling there's a certain amount of attic space, and this is where there's precedent in other apartments for creating extra usable space. There are some good-sized windows around the two principal external walls, and they really capture the amazing views while also leading out onto a terrace. The main aim is really to open up this floor plan that is currently separated into rooms by function and really leaves a very small living area from which to enjoy these views. The light is also incredible, so I'd really like this to reach as much of the interior as possible. And I know that light can also mean heat, but getting rid of these partitions will also enable air to flow more easily throughout the space, which will help to cool it down. So our initial ambition with the space was to maximise access to these windows overlooking the terrace and sea view. It looks like the windows on this wall have been configured to fit this internal arrangement, so there are a few different sizes, but as I mentioned before, they can't be changed. Currently, the kitchen has one high window at the end, as well as this tiny one above the shelves, and they feel particularly constricted by having the ceiling stopping just above them. This is also exacerbated by the floor-to-ceiling partition between the kitchen and combined living and dining space. So the obvious first step is to remove that partition and create an open-plan kitchen and living space. With the bedroom and bathroom in these positions though, an open-plan kitchen would still be interrupted by the circulation route running along here between these two rooms. In such a small building, to have the circulation cutting the space in half like this is really inefficient because it knocks out a fair percentage of the floor area. And while yes, you have some storage space doubling up some of that use of the circulation, which is good, the benefit of that doesn't outweigh the loss of precious floor area in a flat this size. So ideally, what we want to do is to get the circulation between the bedroom and bathroom reduced and move to a less valuable part of the property. The back wall, which has only one window and no view, is the least valuable part in terms of quality of space. So this would be an ideal place for the bathroom, as it's no great loss to partition it off. To reduce the circulation area, we'd want the access to the bathroom to be closer to the entrance door, and that would mean twisting the bathroom round to run across the width of the property instead. This obviously wouldn't work if we had to retain the bedroom down here also, but as I mentioned earlier, there's a loft space that we're wanting to open up. So above this ceiling, it looks like there's a distance from floor to apex of 5.1 metres. So there's space for 2 floor levels, which is great because it means we can put the bedroom on the upper floor and free up a load more space for the kitchen and living area. I mentioned that we want to keep circulation areas close together and in the less valuable part of the property. So that would be back here by the bathroom and front door. So it would make sense to run a stair up the length of the bathroom wall to access the bedroom. To enable the stair to be in this position with the necessary head height and to achieve enough space for a bedroom, this upper floor level needs to be lower than the current ceiling level by about 150 mil. But this raises the problem of how the ceiling meets the windows, because currently the junction is right at the top of the window frames. So this is where the opportunity to meet a few goals comes in. If we lower the ceiling and upper floor level and pull it away from the principal outer walls, we have enough headroom for the stair and can put it in this discrete position at the back. There's also then enough space for a mezzanine bedroom, which has enough head height to walk around, and which is going to enjoy all the amazing light coming in from the front wall of windows. Removing the ceiling from a portion of the living space and opening it up to the roof creates a much greater feeling of space and airiness, in contrast to the slightly oppressive feeling that that ceiling right above the windows had. It also allows these windows to work much harder at benefiting the whole interior. So if we just compare the existing and proposed floor plans for a moment, you can see that there's a relatively small shift in the position of this back wall of the living area. But by putting the bathroom and storage at the back and isolating the circulation between the rooms to this back area too, you stop this passageway feature and instead activate a whole new side of the living room. And it happens to be the side that is directly opposite the most important wall with the row of sea view windows. So this is now floor space that can be used for enjoying that view. And then while your instinct might be to leave this space open and free and not to commit it to anything, by putting an island in this position, you actually layer up the use of this precious floor area, making it active rather than passive. And that creates multiple opportunities to enjoy this particular space. So you can sit at the island and have your coffee in the morning while looking out at the sea, or you can come in and put your keys down here and take a moment to look up and out, or you can prepare a meal here and chat with someone on the other side of the island while both enjoying the view. Or if you just need to walk through this space to get a glass of water in the night, you're again directed through this point, and this curved wall just nudges you round to focus on that view once again. You get the idea. So if you just compare how you would live those moments in the existing floor plan, then hopefully you can see how these partitions and the corridor just fragment these experiences slightly and dilute the opportunities that a view like this presents. When you're in the kitchen, you get this nice contrast between the lower ceiling level versus the double height space all around it. But with the removal of partitions in order to create a freedom of flow through the space, we felt that there was still a need for the ability to create separation between the circulation area and the living area. We didn't want the separation to be permanent or fixed though, so using fabric is sort of the ideal compromise. It can be hung from the roof to floor and can be drawn back in the daytime, then closed across in the evenings, so you can enjoy a sense of privacy and enclosure. You can still easily nip behind the curtain to go upstairs or go to the bathroom, but we really just wanted to feel that completion of space by mirroring the curve in the back wall and entirely just focusing out towards the view and the terrace. The way I learnt to design like this started once I had grasped the first principles of space planning, so that over time I could start to play with those principles to solve problems and develop concepts. It's a way of learning that's both analytical and creative, and a process that I feel has a lot in common with Brilliant's learning platform, which is why I'm sharing their sponsored message with you. My aim with these videos is to avoid simply lecturing, but instead allowing you to practice with me. This is the same method Brilliant uses and is actually proven to be 6 times more effective than passive learning. We all know how important it is to stretch our brain's capabilities throughout our entire lives, but I for one have never got on with Sudokus and would rather learn useful real-world skills like programming and AI from the professionals at MIT, Microsoft and Google who are actually using and developing these technologies. Like me, you're probably also always short of time, so you'll appreciate Brilliant's mini lessons and interactive gamified learning structure. So look at this, you could spend 15 minutes a day working through the lessons on probability, for example, and in just a few days you'll have built up valuable knowledge, be developing a healthy learning habit, and you'll have created a positive alternative to doom scrolling on your phone. There's no need to commit either. You get a generous 30 full days for free when you use the link below with my name on it, and you'll also get 20% off an annual premium subscription. So back to Mallorca and how you can now immerse yourself more fully into these amazing views. With the restrictions on what can be done to the exterior of the building, the terrace would remain exactly as it is, but with the kitchen now opening directly onto it, it should make quite a significant difference in how easily it can be used. And you can see just how much the atmosphere shifts in this property when you get rid of all the hurdles that were restricting access to its best features, and the apartment's layout instead encourages you to enjoy them. So I hope you've enjoyed these ideas for how to open up a loft apartment and ways to make the most of a property with a view. If you'd like me to do a design for your property, you can get in touch with me via my website, gemmawheeler.com. I'd love to hear from you, and I'll see you next time.